Hi, my name is Tebogo Makgoba. I'm the head of innovation and marketing at Adaptability Africa, and I'm super excited to be on the couch with Tamirishi.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Leroy.
How are you?
Good thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm interested to understand, what does the Department of Innovation and Marketing do at Starlight Africa?
What do you do on a daily?
I mean, for us, it's generally about driving the marketing strategy for the business forward, right? It's about making sure that Style ID Africa has a solid brand awareness and presence within South Africa, but also within the industry of influencers, marketing, and all of that jazz, you know. So our goal is basically to just drive the marketing forward for the business.
So what has always been the purpose behind the innovation and marketing department is that it's the engine of the business, and especially from an innovation perspective. And it doesn't necessarily mean these grand innovations that we implement, and we do. We've launched some really amazing products that I'm sure we'll get into in today's conversation. But it's that engine of thought leadership, of forward thinking, and putting across in our marketing new ways of doing influencer marketing, and really educating our stakeholders, being influencers and brands, on what influencer marketing is all about, and going beyond just the basics of influencer marketing, because it's evolved so much since influencer marketing started however many years ago. So I think from an innovation and marketing perspective is really getting across the Style ID value proposition and what differentiates us in the industry and in the market and as an agency. And I think one of the, I suppose, very few agencies that actually have an innovation and marketing department that differentiates us.
How different is innovation and marketing to new business?
Oh, very different.
Yeah, you think you take it. I think if for me, right, so for us it's as Tammy said, we are the engine of the business, right? We are the pulse. So it starts with us more than anything, right? So it makes making sure that the business has a pulse going. So it starts with us in the sense that we make sure that, as I said, the brand awareness is out there. People know about us. Then we bring in like the traffic, the attention, and then new business comes in, and we basically work together to make sure that we convert the people that come in, we convert to the new businesses, new partnerships. We make sure that any initiative we have actually brings in a return outside of what we do. So it's always about giving in and taking in. So that's really how to work.
As I always say to both new business and innovation and marketing, is that marketing and sales go hand in hand. And ultimately what Tebogo and the innovation team do is supposed to feed new business, whether it be from thought leadership, from education, from trends analysis. And that is what Lindo and the new business team will then use to go and educate leads or potential clients on the industry and influencer marketing. So it's very much intertwined, very much different, because Tebogo doesn't necessarily the team doesn't deal with new clients and have their revenue targets and but they've got very different targets, but it ultimately needs to feed into new business to be able to get new clients on board.
What kind of products does the innovation and marketing department then create for the business for us to sell to clients?
What's our most recent and very proud?
I wouldn't know about the most recent. I wouldn't say the most recent, but at the core of all the products we have, it's always about making sure that we empower. Right, we trying always to give back to the community, whether it's just the influencers alone, but also the brands and the partners that we have, right? And one of the products that we have currently is the community platform, right? It's a very unique platform that we currently have, where it encompasses influencers, content creators, right? Where we also empower them through a product, again, within the community platform, which is called the Creator Journal. Really, really proud of it. It's like an amazing platform where we empower creators in terms of the business of influence, in terms of how to be an influencer, how to create, how to monetize, and from that, while we are upskilling the influencers, it also allows brands to also tap into this community that we have created, where they can tap into these creators and they are able to also now use these creators for their campaigns, campaigns, projects, whatever that they need to do. So it's a very proud product that we have. I'm really excited about it. We have some really exciting features that are coming up as well that we will be rolling out in the new year as well. So really, really super excited about that.
I think, and on T's point, is that it's very much about empowerment, and the rationale behind launching the Creator Journal and our very own influencer community is, number one, the empowerment. So influencers can register for free on our community and join different groups and different forums based on your different niches. So whether you are in beauty or fashion or tech or sports or health and wellness, and interact with like-minded individuals and educate each other, but we also educate the different niches and influencers on what's happening in the industry in terms of the influencer community. But then what we had decided from an innovation and product development point of view is to launch the Creator Journal. And what that is taking it one step further in terms of actually launching modules. And within those modules are different lessons. So influencers can go through a process of learning about how to even become a creator, what goes into becoming an influencer content creator, different niches. I don't want to give away too much, rather go check out the Creator Journal. But we really empowering influencers to elevate and content creators to elevate their journey in influencer marketing. And ultimately, the goal for the Creator Journal is to be a subscription model and take our content creators on this journey and ultimately get brand deals. So that's one of the latest innovations and product developments at Style ID.
And what about the innovations for brands? What kind of products are we looking at there, and what's the rationale for some of them?
So there's two, I would say, that we can touch on today. Number one, it's not necessarily specific products, or I suppose it is intertwined, but utilizing our influencer community and elevating our user-generated content product per se, or service offering. So utilizing the community and executing user-generated content campaigns for clients along with affiliate programs. And then the second part is our trends analysis. And I think that's such a key product that we utilize, which you can speak a bit more on.
Of course, throw me under the bus. But it's a very important one. Also, I just wanted to touch on that. The trends analysis is a monthly thing that we do. It's a quarterly thing that we also present to external stakeholders. So the trends analysis is basically call it your booklet, right? That is filled with information. It's filled with insightful content based on specific industries, not just the marketing, but we also focus on tech. We also focus on FMCG and what's happening within that industry. And within those trends analysis that we publish regularly, you will find information such as your demographics, what you need to be looking into, what are the trends, what's currently happening in South Africa, because it's very important that as a business, as I said, we are on the pulse. So it's very important that you're always on the pulse about what's happening within your industry, and you're able to feature proof. We use that a lot within the company. You're able to feature proof your business as well as to what's happening, what's coming up, and how can you actually jump on so that you are able to actually elevate your business within whether it's the year, within the quarter or whatever. So it's a very important project that we have within the department. We also take it out to clients as well. We present it to clients based on the specific industries they have. We do a deep dive into, what's happening in their industry, the problems that they have, the gaps, the threats, the opportunities, and we bring that to life within the trends analysis. And it's very insightful for businesses in terms of making, data-driven
Informed decisions.
Yeah, exactly. It's informed decisions, data-driven strategies as well, and that's how we bring life to these brands and partners that we have.
I think just a very recent one was this morning where we actually presented a trends analysis to financial service in the financial services sector, and it's a product that we use very much from an educating point of view. But as Tebogo said, what is happening from a digital perspective, a content perspective, influencer marketing trends and insights, social media, content specific, and so much of it you actually can't believe that brands don't actually know about, especially from a generational insights and trends. I mean, buzzwords are, we need to run campaigns to target Gen Zs, and our trends analysis takes a very, very much of a deep dive into that. So it's a key product of ours in terms of what we offer to brands.
When we come back, I want to find out how you see the gaps where you need to innovate and how you create products around that.
What's your answer?
When we come back.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Leroy.
Hi, Leroy.
Welcome back.
Hi, Tammy.
So I'm interested in finding out, how do you as an innovation department spot the gaps and then, create the products to fill those gaps in?
Right. So for us as the innovation department, being, the pulse of the business, being the engine of the business, most of the gaps, we notice them in-house. So we actually get to experience them, we go through them, and that's when we start asking the question, what's the solution? And not just the short-term solution, but what's the long-term solution, right? And by doing that, we get to dive deep into actually creating the solution as opposed to just going out and finding a third-party solution, right? And a perfect example of this is through the community platform, where one of the biggest issues that we face is actually finding solid content creators that we can work with, and having to create the community platform where we actually now have our own pool of creators that we can work with has actually now solved the solution, the problem of, you need to go through like social media and go through people's profiles and, how many likes, how many engagement, but now we actually have that in-house. And whenever we have a campaign coming up, we can quickly go on the community platform and be like, okay, we're looking for someone with this niche tech, beauty, and it's easy for us to just tap into that and say, okay, we can use this particular individual.
I think the same applies for our trends analysis, for instance, and going back to the purpose of the innovation department, but always being on the pulse of what is happening. It doesn't have to be a viral trend, but just what's happening from the industry perspective, and then implementing in-house trends analysts and creative strategists. And it's about identifying those gaps internally, but going back to our value proposition and how we want to differentiate ourselves, and then going out and actually creating the solutions around that. The same applies to the podcast, for instance. And there's so many discussions that people want to have about the industry that we went and created the Business of Influence podcast to actually, put out there all these discussions. We might not have all the solutions as we go about the podcast, but really taking different stakeholders on the journey of influence marketing, because it's evolving at such a rapid pace, as everybody knows. But we create those platforms and we create those discussions internally, which is how we identify the gaps and then provide our own solutions.
Yeah.
I'm very interested as a member of the innovation department in how clients perceive the products we bring together. There's a lot of time and resources spent in this department. This department does not have to exist, but it definitely has some benefits. What are some of the benefits that having an internal innovation department and research department have in the broader business?
I think and I'm just going to jump in here quick, because when we launched and started the innovation department, it was always for the future forward, future thinking aspects. And a lot of clients, we always say, are not there yet. And what the innovation department might be executing and doing is South Africa, or is the South African influencer industry ready for that?
Yeah.
And we always go and implement our solutions and products, but the industry might not be ready. They might be ready for some aspects of it. I forgot the question.
Yeah.
Actually.
No, but I totally get where you're coming from and what you're saying, right? And I think it also goes back to the fact that as a business, we're always solution based. We're also looking out for the client and the brand and the partner. We're always trying to future proof their business as well, right? It's not just about us, but it's also about how we future proof their business. We preempt what's going to happen. We anticipate their needs as well, and that's why it's so easy for us to come up with all these solutions, all these products, all these services and projects that actually meet the need that they don't think they have yet, right?
Correct.
And I think it's not just an innovation thing, but it's a full on, cross-departmental thing. We work very closely with the sales department, where they have discussions with these clients, and they come in and they say, guys, we had this conversation and this is what's happening. And the innovation department will be like, bet, let's show you what we can do, and we go deep dive into the research. How can we do it? What's happening out there in the world? What are they doing in Europe? What are they doing in Asia? How can we bring it into South Africa? How can we localize it? Very importantly, we localize it as well, because the audience is very important. The language the audience speaks is very important. So we always bring it back to South Africa. How do we localize it? How do we make it work for the client? And how do we implement it? And I mean, so far we've done really well.
Yeah, and I think one of the latest is where our client service department and our new business department will be able to identify the challenges. Let's just say clients are not able to create and churn out content quick enough or at the speed that needs to be executed and generated. We've launched our own in-house content studio where we're able to churn out the content at the speed that the client needs for TikTok, for instance, or whatever platform. So, yeah.
I think it's interesting because, yes, you're future-proofing the client, but I think it's interesting that you're building solutions today that will ensure that the client is still relevant to be a client tomorrow, because I don't think clients realize how quickly this community is changing.
Absolutely. And that just shows also how we partner with the client. It's not just another client adding to our portfolio and we're just going to churn and execute. I've said this 100 times, where we're not just going to churn and execute influencer campaigns, but we are entrenched enough in their business to be able to share information with them that they don't even know they need.
I think it's one of the fun things about having Style ID as a partner, because although we're selling you influencer marketing, it just doesn't come from nowhere. There's like a real engine that's churning out, testing and trying things out. And when we come back, I want to find out some of those experiments that have worked and some that haven't worked so well. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Leroy.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It's been so interesting to hear about this department, because I don't think many agencies have this in-house. Maybe just give us a bit of an insight of some of the products that have really worked, and some that might not have worked, or maybe have not worked immediately, or are taking a bit longer to mature.
Right. I think the first one that I would want to highlight is the trends analysis.
Yeah, that's been
it's a huge one, right?
That's a huge success.
How has it been a huge success?
I mean,
The buy-in.
the buy-in from the trends analysis has been really intense, and intense in a very good way, right? So when the trends analysis started out, it was just being published on our website and our blog, but then it escalated from that to actually now having full-on workshops with brands and partners to having like
Educate.
a whole event, where we educate people around the industry, around demographics, around what's trending, what content trends are existing, social media trends. These are the demographics you need to speak to within the social media trends. So the buy-in from that has been really exciting, where businesses have been able to actually use the trends analysis as a resource to also
Inform their
decision making. To inform also the projects that they do, the campaigns that they do, but also just to inform their stakeholders, internal stakeholders as well. We always speak about how the marketing industry is always an ever-changing industry. So we see it as a responsibility to make sure that businesses are always informed.
I like that. We see that as a responsibility.
Yeah, it is a responsibility that
is.
businesses are informed, in the sense of what decisions do we need to make going forward. So it has been like a huge
Just
buy-in.
on that, before we go on to perhaps what hasn't worked or what takes a bit longer to work, the trends analysis is, the buy-in has actually been overwhelming. Both from a new business perspective and the tool that we use to start the conversation with potential clients, and also internally, even from our internal marketing perspective, we publish trends now weekly on our newsletters, our blogs, our social media, in terms of educating various stakeholders, but also with our client service. And now it's not just monthly trends analysis or quarterly trends guides. We now send weekly trend scans to our clients to inform them of the trends that have happened that week or trends that are upcoming in the following week, and how we can incorporate that into current campaigns or upcoming campaigns. So it's really evolved into this huge success might even just so the trends analysis is definitely a huge success. What would you say is not so much of a success?
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily that
it's
it's not so much of a success, right? But it's something that I believe we're still leaning into. Brands are still trying to get used to. I think the content studio, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a very important aspect of marketing as well, where brands are now being able to, they have some sort of editorial rights, obviously. So there's certain ways that they want things to be done, and because we understand the client, it's easy for us to actually jump in and actually assist them in getting that out of the way, right?
At the speed at which
they need as well. Currently you have a very long lead time in terms of content being churned out, content being done by influencers, and production teams. But because when we bring it in house, it's easy because the turnaround time is much quicker. Because they have direct access to us as well.
And we're able to create the content in real time based on the trends that are happening currently. So we're able to merge the trends with the content studio and content creation and churn out that content for the clients as it's happening.
It sounds like you're future-proofing your clients too.
Absolutely.
You're continually going, okay, yes, you're a client today, but we need to keep you top of mind,
Agreed.
in front of place, even with things that you don't know you need.
Correct. But I think that's what's taken maybe a little bit of time for clients to buy into, not to say that it's not working, it's just to buy into, because clients are so used to having, these grand productions and things, the content creation taking such a long time to execute, that now you can have it in real time actually.
Businesses are starting to see Style ID not only as an agency they work with, as a supplier, but more as a partner.
Absolutely.
And it seems that a big part of that is the innovation department almost tailor-making products on a daily basis to plug into, whether it's being a repository of information, a repository of research, or just someone who's able to bring a piece of content that sparks the ideas for internal marketing managers. If we're to wrap it up and say, where do we see the innovation department going in the future? Because there's lots of projects you're working on, and you guys are plugging into very interesting corners of the world. Where is the next step? Because I mean, innovation is never
I'm
ending.
going to let Tebogo answer that because we've just unpacked our growth plan.
And
So
we have.
don't give away too much.
I'm trying not to, and it's very hard because I'm like, it's in my head. But I really like that because, I think not just as the department, but as a business, we really do see everyone as an individual. We don't do one-stop marketing for like, oh, it worked for this person, it's going to work for you. No, we make sure that we do a deep dive and we customize, the plan, we customize the strategy for you. And as Temi mentioned, we did like I recently had like a growth plan meeting session where we speak about what's to come, what's coming up for the innovation and marketing department, not just only to future-proof our business, but also what our clients are looking for, their needs as well. So, the biggest plans right now is, I'm trying not to give much away, but just expanding on the current products we have. So for instance, if I can just go a little bit deeper into the creator channel and the community platform, the recent thing that we're looking at now is coming up with like workshops for creators and brands, coming up with summits where we now bring in top industry level individuals to speak to everybody. There will be something for everybody, from a creator to a brand partner, to a brand custodian, a brand manager, social media manager, photographer. It's huge. It's a big project and I'm really, really excited to see it roll out. But not to give too much away. I think people must just stay on the pause and wait.
I think just to finish off, that is a key part of our growth plan for innovation is Africa, and adjusting and tweaking what we do from an innovation perspective in the products we have that are in South Africa and evolving that for Africa. So I think that's a key part of our growth plan.
Just one last one. It seems that a lot of time, resources, and effort goes into this part of the business, even though it's not necessarily always client facing.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in the rationale from a director's point of view. It's a lot of money invested in this. It doesn't necessarily yield return on investment today or tomorrow, but it seems that you're almost empowering your future clients, you're empowering, your future products. I'm interested to find out, is that still the driving force in keeping the department? Because it sounds like there's a lot of plans you have for this department where other agencies don't even have this department.
Maybe I'm just crazy.
No.
Long live the craziness.
Well, you know what they say, no risk, no reward. And that's ultimately just how I've always been, and doing things differently, challenging the status quo. We're not just here to be your average influence marketing agency. And I'm excited to show everyone where the innovation and marketing department is heading, but that's really what differentiates us.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Leroy.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tebogo. And please join us next time on the Founders Desk. Looking forward to seeing you soon.